I overcame that shit. But now it's some more shit.
Right.
I just came off a 10 years sentence, man. You hear me? For that bull.
You'd think a murder case would end their careers, but not in YoungBoy's circle. D-Dog served only 10 years even with DNA on a body. NBA Pap barely did half that, but the craziest one? He never even caught a charge, even though the evidence was screaming his name. In this video, we're looking at NBA YoungBoy's affiliates who killed people, but somehow walked away scot-free. Luel Tim. Unlike the others who are primarily known through their direct day one association with NBA YoungBoy, Tim's connection comes through his close ties to Quando Rondo, who is signed to YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label. Originally from Savannah, Georgia, Tim is a rapper who has dropped tracks like Off the List, but he gained notoriety in hip-hop circles, primarily due to his involvement in one of the most controversial and discussed incidents in recent rap history, the smoking of Chicago rapper King Von. Tim himself caught a hot one and got knocked while receiving treatment at the hospital the next day. He was charged with felony murder in the death of King Von. They tried to throw the book at him and posted a $100,000 bond in March 2021, being released on house arrest with an ankle monitor watching his every move. Then, in August 2023, in a development that shocked many observers and had Von's fans across Chicago heated and ready to slide on anything moving, the felony murder charge was dismissed without indictment. They let bro walk.
Did you think that King Von survived the shooting, or did you know that he was gone at that point?
No, I didn't know neither one, if he was gone or still alive. I just, like I say, I didn't even know it was him. So I didn't even know if he was dead or alive. I just was trying to make sure Quando was good.
In interviews after beating the case and touching back down, Tim has described the incident as pure self-defense, stating Von attacked Rondo first and that Von would still be breathing if he hadn't initiated the confrontation and gotten physical with the squad. He learned Von had died and was gone while hospitalized from his own gunshot wound he caught, and claims his first post-incident call with YoungBoy was supportive, with YB backing the play and showing love, reinforcing the 4KT collective's backing of Quando Rondo, and by extension Tim himself in the streets and on social media where the culture debates everything. However, Tim's legal troubles didn't end with the dismissed murder charge. The streets and the system stayed on his head trying to jam him up. In October 2022, he was arrested following a high-speed police chase in Georgia, facing charges including possession of weed with intent to distribute, possession of a burner by a convicted felon, and fleeing police, catching new cases while out on bond. As of October 2025, these charges appear unresolved, with no recent updates on trials or pleas in public records or court documents, his legal situation still pending. While Tim's story involves one high-profile incident that ended in tragedy and changed the game forever, the next YoungBoy associate is one of the most notorious and controversial steppers in NBA YoungBoy's camp, NBA Baba. This cat ain't just another homie in the clique running around with YoungBoy. He's been labeled as a day one soldier and enforcer type dude, somebody who really lived that street gospel that YoungBoy's tracks always spoke on. With his IG bio shouting out NBA My Tribe and dropping pins like Lil Mexico Zone 6 West Africa, Baba embodied that raw connection between the trenches of Baton Rouge and the cutthroat Atlanta scene, both cities notorious for producing certified gangsters and uncompromising rap beefs. But it was one specific night down in Miami that would permanently etch Baba's name into hip-hop street lore and have the culture talking for years. Back in May 2019, during Rolling Loud Festival weekend, shooters in a Cadillac Escalade straight opened fire on NBA YoungBoy's whole squad outside the Trump International Beach Resort. What went down was pure pandemonium, straight chaos that would leave multiple people hit up and one person stretched out in a body bag. YoungBoy's girl, K. Marie, caught one in the arm, and when the smoke cleared, 19-year-old Kaylin Marie Long was laid out dead, while a 5-year-old shorty caught a graze wound. The shooter, identified as Mohammed Drady, also got dropped, allegedly by return fire from YoungBoy's security. And this is where Baba steps into the picture in the most dramatic way possible, becoming a central figure in what would become a legendary street tale. According to reports and hood speculation across social media, Baba allegedly let that thing blow during the incident, bodying the attacker who was trying to take out YoungBoy's crew. Whether this was pure loyalty, survival instinct, or just being strapped and ready when the ops pulled up. The outcome was crystal clear. Baba found himself jammed up facing over 30 charges, including attempted murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a burner. He sat behind them walls from 2019 onward, with word on the street saying he was staring down up to 9 murder accusations and other violent charges. The pressure from the system was mounting heavy, and from behind them bars, something wild happened that had the whole NBA fan base in their feelings. Baba hopped on social media publicly begging for $30,000 for a lawyer, claiming he wasn't getting no bread from YoungBoy or the 4KT camp to fight his case.
I need a lawyer. Like, all y'all niggas talking about y'all love me. I'm y'all brother. Like, I love y'all too. I ain't tripping if y'all can't do it, because it's a job staying alive. But it's like, damn, like, I need a lawyer. These folks offering me life. My final plea on the 28th. Like, what y'all niggas gonna wait till I get life and try to get me free for some shit I ain't got no business locked up for anyway?
This plea had fans and street watchers going crazy debating about loyalty in the crew, questioning what that ride or die mentality really means when your mans is facing life behind the wall and the bread ain't coming through. But then, in a plot twist that seemed almost too convenient, almost too blessed, something shifted in Baba's legal situation. Some of them charges reportedly got dropped over time, potentially opening a door to freedom that seemed impossible just months before when he was staring down all them football numbers. In July 2025, word started spreading that Baba was about to touch down in the next couple of days, and shortly after that, sources confirmed the homie was back outside. As of October 2025, posts showing his Instagram activity prove he's out here free and moving around in the community, though the exact details of his release, whether he's on papers, got an ankle monitor, or is completely free, remain murky and unclear to the public, while Baba's story raises questions about self-defense, loyalty, and then blurred lines between protection and straight aggression. Another member of YoungBoy's circle found himself in an equally violent situation that same night in Miami, though his role and ultimate fate would take a completely different trajectory through the system. Big B. Unlike some of the affiliates who tried to pursue their own rap careers or stayed visible on social media, Big B has moved more low-key, more discreetly, yet his presence has been felt throughout YoungBoy's whole come-up, from Baton Rouge street rapper to worldwide superstar. He's been described as a day-one homie and protector-type figure, frequently popping up in social media posts and music videos with YoungBoy during them crucial early years when the rapper was building his empire from the mud. Big B's whole background is deeply rooted in that Baton Rouge street life, with connections to the 4KT gang set that became synonymous with YoungBoy's whole movement. While he never carved out a significant music career for himself, his importance to the collective can't be understated. He was there, in the trenches holding it down when it mattered most. Yet despite his proximity to YoungBoy and involvement in the inner workings of the NBA collective, information about Big B's personal legal troubles remains surprisingly sparse and not as heavily documented as some of his co-defendants and associates. However, Big B's government name gets mentioned most frequently in connection with that same fateful night in Miami during Rolling Loud 2019, the shooting that would also get NBA Baba caught up in the system. According to widespread speculation in fan forums and hip-hop street commentary videos, Big B was allegedly the one who returned fire on them attackers during that Trump International Beach Resort shootout, dropping one of the shooters in what would be characterized as justified self-defense. The incident involved ops in a Cadillac Escalade letting off shots at YoungBoy's whole squad, hitting YoungBoy's girl and bystanders, including the fatal shooting of a 43-year-old man and wounds to a shorty. Crucially, YoungBoy's crew, who were legally strapped, returned fire in what was deemed self-defense, and no charges got slapped on them. This detail is significant because it speaks to that legal gray area that often surrounds these street situations. The difference between catching a body and justifiable homicide can sometimes hinge on who shot first, who felt threatened, and how convincingly that threat can be demonstrated to the authorities and a jury. However, when pressed about the incident, YoungBoy reportedly denied Big B's direct involvement in bodying anyone, which has fueled ongoing debates in the streets about whether the rumor is exaggerated hood lore designed to boost Big B's street credibility, or whether it's based in facts but strategically denied for legal protection. This ambiguity is characteristic of the murky underworld these individuals operate in, where truth and fiction blend together, where your reputation gets built on whispers and speculation as much as confirmed actions and documented cases. Beyond the Miami Miami incident, Big B himself became a victim of street violence in November 2020 when he caught a bullet in the leg at a gas station on Highland Road in Baton Rouge. The suspected shooter was found stretched out nearby, though details remain unclear about whether this was suicide, got caught in the crossfire, or was an unrelated incident altogether. The shooter, rumored to be some cat called Hot Boy Do with ties to opposing sets, represented yet another casualty in the seemingly endless cycle of retaliation and get back that defined the Baton Rouge rap scene during this bloody period. What makes Big B's story particularly interesting is the contrast between his rumored deadly reputation and the lack of concrete legal consequences he's actually faced. No charges were filed against Big B in connection to the gas station incident, as he was the victim catching bullets. There are no reports of ongoing probation, indictments, or other legal entanglements as of October 2025, unlike affiliates such as Lil Pap, who got convicted in a high-profile murder case. Big B's rumors remain unproven and largely anecdotal, the product of association, street mythology, and the human tendency to fill information gaps with speculation and hood gossip. While Big B's involvement in the Miami shooting remains a subject of street debate and speculation, another member of YoungBoy's crew would face much more definitive legal consequences for his role in one of Baton Rouge's most notorious rap-related murders that shook the whole city. NBA PAP. Like many in YoungBoy's orbit, Pap never developed a major music career of his own, but he was there, in the mix, during the rapper's early rise in the late 2010s when the streets were watching. The relationship between Pap and YoungBoy would eventually go left, with Pap being labeled a former affiliate by 2023. Though interestingly enough, recent sightings post-release show him still bumping YoungBoy's music, suggesting that whatever divisions existed may have been more complex than simple betrayal or complete abandonment. Pap has been tied to that street life in Baton Rouge, with his activities largely revolving around alleged gang involvement in the NBA versus TBG beef, a feud that would explode into deadly violence and body dropping in September 2017. On September 10th, 2017, rival Baton Rouge rapper G-Money got shot and killed in a parking lot outside his music studio. This wasn't just another street killing or random act of violence. It was a watershed moment in Baton Rouge hip-hop culture, representing the deadly consequences of the ongoing beef between YoungBoy's crew and G-Money's TBG squad. Pap got knocked in June 2019 in connection to the body, and on January 7, 2021, he was indicted for second-degree murder, facing a mandatory life sentence if convicted at trial. Prosecutors alleged he was the triggerman, linking the murder directly to the ongoing feud that had already claimed lives and destroyed families across Baton Rouge. Pap maintained his innocence initially, but as the case dragged on and the reality of catching life in prison loomed larger, the calculation shifted dramatically. On January 23, 2023, in a move that disappointed some street observers and vindicated others, Pap accepted a plea deal to a lesser charge of accessory after the fact to second-degree murder, receiving a 5-year prison sentence. This was a stunning reduction from the life bid he was facing, and it came with significant implications about the strength of the case. Prosecutors cited difficulties in securing a conviction due to multiple shootings in Baton Rouge affecting witness cooperation, a sobering reminder of how violence begets violence, how trauma compounds trauma, until even the pursuit of justice becomes damn near impossible in the hood. Adding to the complexity of the whole case, a key witness who had snitched on Pap was later indicted for another murder in 2021, potentially torpedoing the credibility and strength of the prosecution's case against him. This development illustrated the murky, complicated nature of street justice, where witnesses are often participants themselves, where everybody got something to hide, and where the line between victim and perpetrator is rarely clear-cut or simple. Pap touched down after serving his time, with reports in September 2024 confirming the homie was back on the streets. Shortly after his release, he was spotted on Instagram Live bumping YoungBoy's music, a gesture that seemed to signal either reconciliation, continued loyalty despite their issues, or perhaps just an appreciation for the art regardless of personal relationships and past beef. But Pap's freedom didn't mean he went quiet. In fact, the homie became quite vocal. He went off on rapper Montana 700 for alleged disrespect, reinforcing his loyal, confrontational image, even while avoiding new violence claims.
I don't know, like, I'm gonna put it like this, shit. G-Money know the reason what happened to him. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if he was here to tell a story, then he'll tell you. Like, he know the reason what happened to him. Some might say cheese, some might say Instagram, whatever the case may be, but he know the reason what happened to him. You feel what I'm saying?
where Pap's story involved a long legal battle that ended in compromise and a plea deal. Our next subject's journey through the criminal justice system started at an age when most teenagers are worried about homework and high school dances, and it would set him on a trajectory that seemed almost impossible to escape from the beginning. D-Dog. NBA D-Dog, also known as D-Dog or NBA D-Dog, stands as perhaps the most tragic figure in this entire narrative. A young cat whose life seemed destined for violence from an impossibly early age, whose choices and circumstances collided in ways that make it difficult to separate victim from perpetrator, child from criminal in the system's eyes. He's been described as one of NBA YoungBoy's closest day ones and a loyal member of the Never Broke Again and 4KT collective, somebody who earned the descriptor of brother-like figure to YoungBoy, though not necessarily blood-related by family ties. Originally from New Orleans, D-Dog relocated to Baton Rouge after Hurricane Katrina in 2005, where he became embedded in the local street scene at a vulnerable young age when he should have been protected. His whole family had deep ties to Baton Rouge's gang culture, with multiple relatives caught up in violent crimes, a pattern that would prove tragically prophetic for D-Dog himself as he grew up. While he has no notable music career to speak of, he has been frequently referenced in hip-hop commentary as a key enforcer type in YoungBoy's circle during the height of Baton Rouge rap beefs in the late 2010s when bodies were dropping regularly.
I'm really from New Orleans, man. Yeah, having but I moved to BR when I was very young. And that's how it really, I started really like that.
D-Dog's legal history began horrifyingly early, with a severe incident when he was just 14 years old, an age when most kids are still playing video games and worrying about school crushes. On November 6th, 2012, he, his older brother Ben, and cousin Juan allegedly conducted a home invasion in Baton Rouge, rocking ski masks and armed with an AK-47, sawed-off shotgun, and a pistol. According to reports, they kicked in the door of a man named Derek and opened fire, ultimately killing him. During the chaos of the home invasion, in a moment that seems almost grimly comical if it weren't so tragic and real, D-Dog accidentally shot his cousin Juan 4 times, and the group ditched evidence in a dumpster before seeking medical help. DNA evidence linked them to the murder, creating an almost impossible situation to deny or beat in court. Juan snitched on D-Dog and Ben in exchange for a manslaughter plea, while Ben was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life without parole. D-Dog's case became even more complicated when his mother claimed he had behavioral issues after a childhood bike accident, arguing he had the mental capacity of a 10-year-old and should not be tried as an adult. A juvenile judge initially agreed, a decision that offered a glimmer of hope that perhaps this child, because that's what he was, just a kid, might receive treatment, rehabilitation, and a chance at redemption instead of being thrown away. But an appeals court reversed the decision, citing no rehabilitation potential, leading to an adult trial and 10-year sentence for second-degree murder. This reversal represented a fundamental judgment about D-Dog's humanity, his potential, his worth as a human being, a judgment made about a 14-year-old boy that would shape the entire rest of his life trajectory. While locked up, D-Dog's troubles continued to multiply. He faced additional charges for battery on an officer and resisting with force, including an incident where he allegedly fought guards naked and was pepper sprayed. These incidents paint a picture of someone deeply troubled, someone struggling with demons that a prison cell only seemed to amplify rather than address or heal. He was released sometime before 2022, but freedom did not bring peace, transformation, or a fresh start. In September 2022, D-Dog was charged with attempted murder related to a 2018 shooting, posting a $300,000 bond shortly after getting booked. But days later, in a sequence of events that seems almost predestined in its tragedy, he led police on a high-speed chase through the streets, crashing the whip and killing his passenger. Authorities found a ski mask and burners in the car, leading to charges including first-degree vehicular manslaughter, resisting an officer, and firearm possession. His bond was set at $19.7 million, an astronomical figure that made release essentially impossible, a number that seemed designed not just to ensure he stayed behind bars, but to make a statement about the system's complete exhaustion with his repeated offenses and inability to stay out of trouble. Baton Rouge police expressed frustration, noting repeated dealings with him and his family in violent incidents.
They can put my name in. They won't take their leg, you hear me? But you hear me? That's another story. You hear me? It's all good though. Yeah.
Okay.
I overcame that shit. But now it's some more shit.
Right.
I just came off of a 10-year sentence, man. You hear me? For that book. Right. Now it's some more. Okay.
The cycle of violence extended even to D-Dog's immediate family in chilling ways that suggest something generational and systemic. His 35-year-old brother Cleveland surrendered in January 2022 for murdering 14-year-old Dion Williams with an AK-47 in a parking lot over alleged bullying, also shooting at bystanders who were just in the wrong place. A related shooting killed Dion's friend hours later. There are no updates on trials or resolutions as of October 2025 in available sources, leaving D-Dog's current legal status in a state of uncertainty and confusion. Despite these serious charges and the enormous bond that should have kept him locked up, D-Dog is currently free or on bail, posting content in 2025. He even performed at YoungBoy's concert in September 2025, suggesting that whatever legal jeopardy he faces hasn't prevented him from maintaining his public presence and connections to YoungBoy's circle in the streets. While D-Dog's story represents a cycle of violence that began in childhood and seems impossible to break, our next subject represents a different archetype entirely. Someone whose connection to YoungBoy has been marked more by rumor, speculation, and denial than confirmed violence or actual bodies on his name. BBG Baby Joe. BBG Baby Joe, often just called Baby Joe in the streets, is a Baton Rouge rapper and former affiliate of NBA YoungBoy, part of the Never Broke Again and 4KT collective. He gained visibility in the late 2010s through collaborations with YoungBoy, including the track Asian Girls, and appearances in videos and on social media as a close homie who was really in the trenches with the squad. Unlike some of the other dudes in this story who stayed strictly in the streets getting money and sliding on ops, Baby Joe pursued his own rap career with some success, using his connection to YoungBoy as a springboard, while also trying to carve out his own lane in the crowded and cutthroat Baton Rouge rap scene where everybody and they mama trying to blow up and get out the hood. The origin story of their relationship carries particular weight and emotional significance in the streets. Baby Joe met YoungBoy locked up around 2017-2018, a meeting that happened under tragic circumstances that would bond them for life like blood brothers. Both were behind them walls when YoungBoy's cousin Boozilla got smoked by the ops, a loss that hit both men hard, as Boozilla had been tight with Baby Joe too and was his day one. This shared pain and grief became the foundation of their brotherhood and loyalty to each other in the streets.
Yeah, like that, like the inside of the earth is like the core. That what it's called? The core. That's right. The core, like that's the core. Like you can say that's the core. Like Boozilla, like him, like I lost Boo. That's why I lost Boo, and God gave me YB.
Baby Joe describes YoungBoy as essentially filling the void left by Boozilla getting murdered in the streets, with YoungBoy becoming a motivating force, encouraging Baby Joe to rap as a way to channel his anger and stay out the streets catching cases. They did 7 to 8 months together behind the wall, time that let them build real bonds beyond the faking you see in the industry, where dudes be on something phony for clout and cameras. However, by 2025, things fell apart completely between them. Brothers turned strangers overnight. Baby Joe got kicked out of 4KT, and the whole squad amid street rumors that he took $70,000 from YoungBoy, a serious violation and ultimate betrayal in the code, a claim Baby Joe denies heavy and has addressed publicly defending his name. He says YoungBoy was high off drugs when he gave him the bread and forgot about it later, and that the dudes around YoungBoy too scared to speak up and tell YB the real about what went down. This falling out shows how fragile these street relationships really are. How money, drugs, paranoia, and snakes in the circle can destroy even the tightest bonds forged through shared trauma and jail time. Baby Joe's legal jacket ain't as thick as some others in YoungBoy's circle, but it's still worth mentioning. He did time locked up around 2017-2018 when he was young, where he met YoungBoy, though the specific charges from that bid aren't detailed in what we could find. In June 2021, he got caught in a shootout on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge, catching a hot one to the neck that almost took him out while supposedly protecting his son from dudes trying to catch him slipping, a father protecting his shorty. He got rushed to the hospital but survived and pulled through, and no charges got pressed on him from that situation since he was the victim defending himself and his kid from street violence. His family got a deep history with violence that runs through the bloodline. His brother BBG Tyler got knocked in 2021 on first-degree murder charges for catching a body, and his pops got murdered when Baby Joe was just 2 weeks old, never even got to know his father. In September 2025, Baby Baby Joe got arrested in the Houston area on an out-of-state warrant, though details on what that warrant for remain unclear and haven't been made public yet. While Baby Joe's inclusion might be questioned since there's no confirmed bodies on his name, our last subject represents maybe the clearest example of someone walking free despite allegations, though in his case, even the allegations themselves are questionable, and his story serves as a counterpoint to everyone else we've discussed. No Cap. No Cap's affiliation with NBA YoungBoy started in 2019 when he signed to YoungBoy's Never Broke Again label under Atlantic Records, getting put on by one of the biggest rappers in the game, leading to collabs like Outta Here Safe on YoungBoy's AI YoungBoy 2 tape, a track that went crazy. Their relationship been rocky though, including a public beef in late 2022 where old social media posts of No Cap talking slick about YoungBoy resurfaced and had fans picking sides, and YoungBoy accused No Cap of being opportunistic and scary during the 2020 King Von situation with Quando Rondo, calling him out. But by June 2025, No Cap publicly said he forgave YoungBoy and others, squashing the beef, showing a level of maturity that's rare in this world of never-ending beefs, diss tracks, and grudges that last forever in rap. No Cap's legal troubles mainly involve gun charges and probation violations from incidents in his hometown Mobile. In September 2019, he got arrested for allegedly firing shots twice into an occupied crib, hitting a couch inside during some disorderly conduct, letting off recklessly in the hood. Witnesses pointed him out as the shooter who pulled the trigger, leading to charges including reckless endangerment, discharging a burner into an occupied building, possession of drugs, and a probation violation, catching multiple cases at once. He turned himself in on September 25th, 2019, shortly after dropping the song First Day In, which hinted at the jail time coming, showing he knew what was up and owned his actions. No Cap got out in November 2020, but by September 2022, he was back in custody after a court hearing, violating his probation, showing the system wasn't done with him and stayed on his head. Additionally, No Cap's former road manager, Morgan Cardell Baker, had a 2022 murder conviction thrown out in March 2024 by Georgia's highest court, which ruled that a No Cap music video for Ghetto Angels shouldn't have been used as evidence in Baker's trial for the 2019 killing of Tamarco Head, saying it was prejudicial. This indirectly connected No Cap to violence through association, though he never got charged himself, showing how just being around certain things can mess up your reputation and complicate things legally when you run with certain people. What's most important about No Cap being in this story is what's missing: the rumors, the allegations, the street mythology that surrounds almost everyone else we talked about. Unlike some of NBA YoungBoy's other affiliates who got direct allegations of multiple bodies on their name, No Cap doesn't have widespread or backed up rumors linking him to murders or catching bodies. Searches across hip-hop forums, news sites, and social media show no credible claims of him committing homicides or being a real stepper sliding on ops, with his deadly reputation mainly limited to that 2019 shooting incident, where he allegedly shot into a crib but nobody got hit or killed, no bodies dropped. His bars often touch on street violence, demons, and survival, which fans see as reflections of what he witnessed growing up in Mobile, rather than confessions of bodies he personally caught. Some online talk loosely ties him to broader rap violence because of his Mobile roots and being signed to YoungBoy and the NBA 4KT movement, but these are just stories not backed by arrests or murder indictments. Lists of rappers involved in killings don't include No Cap, focusing instead on cats like G-Dep or others with confirmed convictions and actual bodies.